Live on YouTube.
YouTube, Facebook. Hey everyone, how are you doing today? I have a wonderful interview for you. I'm Symona Monet with Intuitive Science, and I want to bring to you and introduce you to the lovely Denise Bailey. She's a mother of three children. She's a civil servant for the state of Michigan. She's a wonderful cook and ascension healer, a powerful healer. Yes, she is. This is the one and only overcoming it all, Denise Bailey. How you doing, Denise?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I'm so excited. I am
Me
so
too.
excited that you're here, and I'm so excited for you to share your story because I know that your story is going to impact everyone. Your story is really going, because this is an issue that a lot of people have. If they don't have this issue, they know someone in their family or close friend that does and have battled through this issue.
Mm-hmm.
Again, me and Denise worked together. I worked with her. She was part of my um, intuitive trauma recovery coaching program. So she took part. We worked together for some time. It was over a year. And early
Mm-hmm.
on in that, us working together, she was able to break she was able to break free from alcoholism. And she wants to talk to you about that, inspire you, and also just let you know, encourage you that there's a way that you can break free. When we started working together, she was drinking every day, getting drunk every single day. Is that not true, Bailey?
I was a highly functioning alcoholic.
Yes, she was working,
Highly
but she was
functioning.
getting drunk every day. And I want to ask you, why was it that you were drinking on an everyday basis? What trauma was behind all of that? And did you know why you were doing it at that time? Or did you have an idea of why you were drinking obsessively and that you couldn't stop? You got out of control. So how did that happen?
Well, it started where I got the words at. Before it was like I thought it was just like casual drinking. But after the death of my husband, my late husband Quan, that's where it really happened. I used it as a coping mechanism. It got me through. It was that vice that gave me motivation to make it through the rest of the day. Because if I was drinking, I had fun, I laughed, you know what I'm saying? And then I enjoyed what it was I was doing while I was drinking. So after a while, a pint here and there became a fifth here and there. So um, pretty much the year you and I collided and meshed, I was at a fifth a day for about, I have been on that track, I say, for about 6 months straight. And every time I tried to quit or tried to slow down, like it really affected me. It hurt. It literally hurt my body. It hurt me from the inside out. I had developed IBS. Um, I couldn't half eat, you know what I'm saying? Or I overate to eat the alcohol. So then I gained weight. Like I gained like 80 pounds really easy. And I can't get it off, but it's coming. I can in a minute.
Yeah.
I
In
can
due
in a minute.
time, in due time.
But yeah, it really affected me. I didn't realize how it affected my relationships with people. I didn't realize uh, how bad off I was until the pain started. But I was already in pain. You know what I'm saying? And I just
Mhm.
forgot I was in pain because I was too busy enjoying my alcohol.
Yeah.
So
So the
that's what
alcohol
happened.
pretty much just numbed that pain at the time. So you weren't
It did.
feeling it. It can take your mind off of the pain that you were experiencing.
It did. It
And
did. And
so,
also helped me tune other people out because, on top of that pain, people can be shitty, especially when they don't know what's
mhm,
behind the mask. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
And I use it to just say, excuse my language, F that too. You know what I'm saying? F all of y'all. I can do this. I'm doing it. I'm still doing it. And I can do it like this. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it ended up hurting me worse in the end, I think. But I'm
But
better now.
while you were in that, you could not see
No,
yourself. You couldn't see
no.
yourself at that time.
Because I
And
thought I thought I was succeeding. I thought I was
yes.
overcoming, and this was my coping mechanism, and it was helping me. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? I didn't see what it wasn't doing. I didn't.
Hmm. So it was self-medicating. And
Hmm.
so a lot of people don't contribute self-medicating with alcohol as much. Sometimes they do, but a lot of times people will self-medicate. I'll just, let people know what self-medicating is. Self-medicating is when we're going through some things and we choose to take a substance like alcohol, or someone chooses to do,
Pills.
illegal drugs or whatever, or
Hmm.
even overeating in order
Hmm.
to, that's me right there,
Hmm.
overeating, you know what I'm saying, or eating the wrong things that you don't know is healthy for you in order to feel better,
Right.
and there is science to that. There's science to that. You do feel better. These substances have things in them to make you change your state, but in the
Yeah.
long run, they're no good for it. It's destroying
Yeah.
our lives, and eventually it's going to destroy our health, and then will eventually transcend as a result of our health deteriorating. So
Hmm.
it's not healthy to go down that path, and then not you're taking yourself out of reality, which is
Right.
also not healthy. It's
Right.
not healthy, and it's not safe, because when we take ourselves out of reality, we're outside of our body. And I know Bailey,
Hmm.
Denise, sometimes I call her Bailey, that's her last name, some but Denise understands, with being a healer now, and
Hmm.
and understanding energy, that when you take yourself out of the body, that could be a very dangerous thing to do,
It makes
because
you
it's
highly
like you're
vulnerable.
exactly, you're leaving your door open to your house, where anyone and everything can come
Hmm.
in, which is very dangerous. And
Hmm.
so, Bailey, I do you want to talk? I know that I remember the session
Hmm.
that um we identified the root of the problem, because you know how I look at things, in an intuitive way, and then I'll see where you're holding it in your body, and then we'll resolve that, and then you were able to move forward. So can you tell me a little bit about that? Do you kind of remember that moment that we identified where that may have been coming from?
Um, I remember one session. It was where you spoke about where I had been taken advantage of
Mm-hmm,
numerous times by numerous people. I almost want to cry, but
mm-hmm,
um, in in that moment, it was as if, and even with my husband's death, there was a certain sense of power that I lost. There was a certain sense of
mm-hmm,
power that was taken from me. So I thought, was taken from me because of those violations. And I didn't really realize that they were really violations. Well, I just thought it just was what it was, and that's what people do. And I felt like I had fault in it too. I felt guilty because um, aside of my husband, the violations that took place was while I was under the influence of alcohol.
mm-hmm.
So uh, and I was vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't my fault that the people who took advantage of me made their decision. You know what I'm saying? But I
Mhm,
felt guilty because I felt like if I hadn't been around them, if I hadn't been drinking that way, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have allowed myself to, be placed into that situation. But you helped me to understand that I can't control the actions of others. I can only control the actions of myself.
yes.
Um, I was just doing the best that I could at that time. And yes, alcohol was my vice. And I thought that's what I should do because I mean, I've been doing it for years. Everybody's been doing it around me for years. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying? It's normal. It's a normal coping mechanism in my environment at that time, so um, this is just what happens when, you put yourself into this place. So I beat myself up a lot. It was really me turning on myself for the actions of others, for the situations I had no control over, for the lack of knowledge that I had, the ignorance that was within me, So um, that session allowed me to forgive myself for my mistakes, for my lack of knowledge, for my ignorance, for my just innocence in a way. You know what I'm saying? Because when you
Yes.
don't know, there's an innocence there. There's a lack of guidance. There's a lack of, you know what I'm saying? Just a lack. And I was in a severe lack mentality, so I've grown a lot. I've grown a lot.
And even with that, because I know it came up that you had a violation as a child also.
Yes.
So getting down to the root of that,
Yes.
Which came up, because how it works is I pick up things intuitively, and then I will, confirm it with that who I'm working with. And a lot of times it's right on target, but I was able to identify, and I can remember seeing it. I remember seeing it within Deniece body, where the problem was. She was holding it, which was in the liver. And when I identified that, we went back and I told her, I asked her about a trauma that may have happened when she was a young child, a violation. And we were able to go back to that because that was the root. The root. What happened later on was even more of a trigger. So that trigger just made the drinking more and more obsessive when things happen, because that's a reminder of the initial violation. So what we were able to do is we were able to I was able to identify that, and I was able to do some energy work and some other work, and we were able to remove that. And Deniece, was able to move forward as far as not needing to drink anymore, not needing to get drunk on a daily basis. She broke free from that trauma. So it was amazing what happened. And I just wanted to say, Deniece, your screen had froze.
Yeah, can you hear me talking? Can
I
you
can
still
hear
hear
you
me?
talking, but
I
the
can't get it to unfreeze. Like I'm trying to move and sit
yeah,
still.
we'll just move forward because we are streaming, and then who knows what happens. Hopefully, you come back in. Maybe if you take your camera on, turn it on and off, it may come back. So it may come back that way. I'm not sure, but if not, we'll just move forward because this is a very important conversation.
It is.
And I feel that you and I thank you so much for your courage of being able to share your story, because a lot of people need this story. They need this. They may be in that same situation. They may be sitting there with a drink in their hand right now. You never know.
Yes.
And this may help them to change that around, just knowing that there's hope. There's hope out there. And I just want to share this story because it's so inspirational. And Deniece, I want you to tell me, as far as now you've overcome the drink. It's been 2 years. You don't have to drink every day. You don't have to get drunk every day. For 2 years, how has that changed your life?
Well, I can tell you one thing. I have way more energy than before. Like people used to joke and tease me before, like, how can I get drunk like I did the night before and still do all the stuff the next day like it was nothing? But like I have way more energy than that now. But I think the most impactful is uh it's my perception and how I deal with people. People used to be able to say things and my skin was so thin. You know what I'm saying? Now, when people say certain things to me, I can process it in a way where I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it without the pain. I get it without feeling like some people, of course, they like to poke the bear. They enjoy that because they enjoy the reaction you'll get from that. So, like, because I understand, um, I could process the information differently. I can respond appropriately without putting myself in a vulnerable situation. I could stand up for myself better. Maybe I should say it like that. You know what I'm saying? I have more power and I'm more empowered within myself. You see what I'm saying? So
Yes.
I I have I don't know, it's like my gifts actually, you know, the power of intuition is more keen. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you see things coming before it comes and you know, you can kind of prepare or some things you just can't prepare, but you can hear. You can hear how to move. You know what I'm saying? Because spirit speaks to you all the time. You know, your God self within yourself speaks to you all the time. It's that little voice that said, that's not a good idea. When I'm drinking, don't drink no more. And I actually can hear like you've had enough now. You going too far. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yes.
easy to acknowledge and hear those conversations within yourself. So enabled with that ability, it's easier to deal with the things that are happening. You know what I'm saying? It's easier to deal in the moments without, oh my God, I gotta go get me a drink. I gotta go get me a drink. And then you're frustrated because you can't go get a drink. So you're frustrated on top of frustration already, the trigger, you know what I'm saying? And that anxiety, that's there when you can't get what you want and you can't deal with what you're dealing with, that in itself would just split your brain in half, you know? And people don't understand. I think that's where split personalities come in at, because it's got to,
Yes.
because it
Yes.
literally feels like you're battling within yourself. You're at war within yourself. Like, I gotta, but you can't. I gotta, but you can't. I don't have to do that anymore. You know what I'm saying? Now I can go through a highly stressful situation. I'll be like, oh my gosh, how can I get through this? How can I get past it? What can I do to make it better for the, you know, better, even just better for the moment? Because some things you don't have control over. And with a clearer mind and a clearer perception, it's easier to navigate the troubled waters. You know what I'm saying? You can find the tide that's going to get you by. You can catch that rift a whole lot easier than trying to fight against the current.
Yes,
So,
I totally understand, Denise. I mean, that's excellent explanation as to what you were going through, and I'm sure that a lot of people can identify with that. Or if they can't identify with that, maybe they have a loved one that can identify with that, and it better
mhm,
gives a person understanding of how to deal with that person that is struggling or suffering with alcoholism,
mhm,
for them to get a better understanding as to where that person is at. This gives them an understanding of that. And,
mhm,
it's like we don't know if you haven't battled alcoholism, if you haven't battled or some type of substance abuse or narcotic use or something like that issues, a person wouldn't know what's inside of that person. They just want them to stop. They see that it may not be beneficial to their life, but they don't understand what is inside of that person, what is going on in the inside. And
right.
that helps a whole lot in dealing with your loved ones or your people that are battling those type of issues, opposed to judging, because I'm sure when you were drinking, before you broke free of that alcoholism, before that session that we had and we were able to remove that was able to be removed from you, I'm sure that many of people had things to say and judgment. Is that not true, Denise?
Oh yeah, I was always under the watchful eye of judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed like every time I turned around, I was hearing something about myself that I don't know. Like, yeah, people had a lot to say, but they didn't have any solutions.
Oh,
You know,
yes, yes.
they had a lot to say, but without solution. They had a lot to say to other people, but not to me.
Mm.
Uh, People just love to talk about Bailey, and I wish I could get paid for that fame because
Yes,
I
yes.
would have bank right now.
Yep, yep. Mm-hmm.
I would have bank. I swear I would. But yeah, people. That's what people do, though. People talk, and I think people do that to get the attention off of themselves as well. Um, if I could be let me go back and say this. Like if I could be the catalyst for distraction of your mess at that point in time in your life where I'm standing now, the place that I'm in now, I'm
Mm-hmm.
grateful for it because you need people like me. You needed me at that time to be that distraction for you, to be that vice for you. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
matter if it, hurt me or hurt anybody else. And that's what happens when you become an alcoholic. That's what happens when you become addicted to drugs. Any type of chemical substance, any type of substance that uh, you know creates that environment. It's just that. So I'm grateful for my process, even if it was ugly. you know I am where I am because of it, and I'm in a much better place. My kids, I have a better relationship with my children, especially my oldest son. My oldest son, he harbored a lot of anger because of the way I drank. um I didn't know how to be there for him in the way that he needed me to be there for him. But then there was a lot of responsibilities placed on each one of them because it wasn't because of my alcohol. It was just because of the circumstance. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But for them to see me that way made them feel insecure. It made them feel um, just, I think that's just the only word I can really use is insecure. Like I don't have a dad. We don't have family that comes around. All we have is mom, and look at her. You know what I'm saying? And your kids watch, they pay attention to that, and they become angry. So I've spent the last since the healings with you, my family has become more solidified. Like we stand together better, and it's helped me to help them through their situations. Um, it's just
So Denise, what? Because one thing that we notice that you notice when we're going through our healing sessions and the sessions that
hmm
we went through, not
hmm
only do you experience the healing from the session or after the session, because after the session, sometimes the healing will continue,
it
but
does.
the environment, because we talked a lot about, and there was a lot of assignments.
Mm.
There was a lot of assignments, and I
It
and I
was.
and I just appreciate you so much because everything that came up, you would do, and those
hmm
assignments, it would just make the healing even, the process
More
even
profound.
quicker or better or more
hmm
profound, like you said. So,
hmm
what was happening in your environment as a result of you healing, and how that impacted your sons? Because you talked about your sons. How did that impact the relationship that you have now?
Yeah. Like we talk easier. When I say easier, I mean easier. Sometimes we used to struggle to find words, you know what I'm saying? Because we didn't want to step on each other's toes or, hurt each other's feelings. But like now we can say what we have to say in a way where we get it. You know what I'm saying? There's just a knowing that we're not coming from a hurt place. They know that I'm not coming from a hurt place. Now, I never was like the parent who cussed and fussed all the time. So my boys know if mama's cussing and fussing, we done messed up. Like
Right.
she done asked us too many times and she's fed up now. She's cussing and fussing. Let's go on and get it done. But sometimes we would just have random conversations that were just hard. Now, like my oldest son, he used to spend a lot of time in his room. He'll hang around sometime, you know. My youngest son, he hangs around. Hey, you want to go here? You want to go? Sure. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't mind riding in the car with me. You know what I mean? My
Yeah.
middle son, he's still busy, but he and I have more deeper conversations, especially with relationships with others. And by him, he smokes weed. So when he smokes, you know, it helps me to recognize things in him and catch him before he gets too bad off. I said, why are you doing
Yeah.
this? Well, what do you think the purpose of this is? What do you know what I'm saying? What's going on? You know, so it helps me ask him the deeper questions because I recognize certain aspects of myself in him. Even though his vice is weed, it's still the same thing. You're altering your state of mind to deal with your circumstance or, you know, your situation. So I can
And
help guide him better.
and I
Hmm.
know from what it sounds like your life took a total 360 and a total turnaround, and you went on your path to training yourself in the healing arts, and now you're a healer yourself. One thing
Hmm.
I recognize right away is how gifted Deniece was, how intuitive she was when we first started working together, and
Oh,
when
what's up
we
with
were able
Denise
to
Bailey?
remove the blocks of the trauma and some of and having to be able to manage some of the grief and things like that. Deniece was ready to go on her own healing journey. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Deniece?
Well, I'm trying to fix my camera, you guys. So see, it froze. Oh my gosh. Okay. Um, well, I have been on my healing journey for what? This is going on my third year. Has it been 3 years? Going on 3 years now.
I think it's been 3 years because you
Yep.
started when you released a lot of the things that you were going through. So wow, it's actually the because you released the alcoholism, then I mean because you went on your healing journey after that,
Yeah.
us releasing the alcoholism and things like that and some of the traumas. So in actuality, you said 2 years
It's
of sober, but actually it's been about three,
it's
you
been
know,
about three because that
3 years
was
healing
that was
journey.
2000. I want to say that was 2000. Was it 2017? You and I started.
I think it was
This was 21.
2017. I believe it was because it's prior. Of course, it was prior to the pandemic and all of those things. So it's been some time now. So it's over
Yeah,
3 years. That was
2017 because Warren passed. Warren
mhm.
passed November 2017, and were we already doing the healings? No, we had
It was
really just
right. I
started.
believe it was right after that because after
Yeah.
dealing with the alcoholism, we were dealing with the grief, and we did a lot
Mm-hmm.
of things in dealing with the grief and being able to deal with the
Yep.
grief issues.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Because you and I started working with each other, I think, like in March, April,
Mhm.
somewhere around there. So yeah, it was right after that. Because December 17, 2017, I stopped smoking cigarettes. I haven't had a cigarette since, y'all. Still geek.
Yeah, good job.
I
So
still haven't had a cigarette since.
alcohol and cigarettes.
Yep. And then
That's a huge one. Cigarettes is a huge one too.
the summer before he passed, I had just became a minister at the Jehovah Shalom Church of God in Christ Incorporated, and so I really was kind of tiptoeing in and out of
Mm-hmm.
reconnecting with God, and trying, but the healing just kind of boosted me into um the deeper meaning of spirituality. I used to tell people all the time I wasn't religious, I was spiritual. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
I just knew that there was a natural way, there's a natural order of just doing things, and how you treat people, how you treat things, and how you treat the planet. There's just
Yes.
you just know. So um with practicing the intuitive Reiki, I've since learned how to work with the inner child. I've trained in past life. I've trained in mediumship. I recently finished a training in medical intuition. I think I need a lot of practice there.
Well, Bailey, I think that you're excellent. I've seen you do some really powerful healing work.
Yes,
I've seen it. So I think it just has to do with, you just gaining your confidence.
my confidence.
And
Yeah, and then our community, the community that I'm in, I'm just gonna say my community in the sense of the people that I have around me. A lot of people aren't really receptive of this type of work because they're afraid of the spirit aspect. Like you say the word spirit. I wish I can get my camera to work because this is really frustrating me. But you say the word spirit, they're like, oh no, you gotta, or it's witchcraft. And, this is not witchcraft. Everybody has the power to do this work. It's you choose whether or not to use the gift that, God gave you. What was, I'm not really a Bible person word for word, but what's the verse where, um, even you two would be able to do works greater than I, or something
yes,
of that
yes.
aspect.
Jesus is talking. That's the scripture that Jesus is talking and saying, we will do much greater works than even
Hmm.
he did. And so we have all of the power to heal and do everything. He said, you lay hands on the sick and the sick will be healed. And
Hmm.
so just doing that, and that's a mandate from God through Jesus,
Hmm.
if you believe in
Hmm.
Jesus, you know. And so
Hmm.
with the Christian tradition, that is a mandate. That's something that we have been gifted with as being
Hmm.
children of God, or however you want to look at it, Allah, or um,
Hmm.
however you want to look at it, or the divine, or the universe, or the source, however you want to look at it, the divine, the great creator, or the great father, or the father, however you want to
Yeah.
look at it. We have the power has been given to us, and Jesus was the example that we can do these works too. And so
Yep.
that is what this whole thing, what we're talking about, is stating. I mean, I
Hmm.
remember watching you, Denise. We went in
Hmm.
for a session. I was observing the session, and this lady, you told her exactly, she had hip pain, she had pain in her back. You told her what was going on with her, and when she came out of there, she had no pain. That
She
tells
did.
you
She was able
how
to move.
powerful it
She
is.
was actually mostly. She was like, I can move my toe. I haven't been able to move my toe in months. I can't tell you when. And she was like, oh my God. And even her limp had changed. Her limp
Yes.
had changed. Yeah, I
And
felt that shift.
she did not, the pain, when you asked her about the pain, it did not come back. You asked her a couple
Right.
of more days, it didn't come back. Not to say that the pain will never, if people have issues,
Return.
it may be healed, but those things
Hmm.
may come back if they're not continually getting the therapy, or the,
Hmm.
coming for sessions, because
Hmm.
it depends on how long that injury or whatever was going on. If
Right.
it was for a long time, they've been dealing with this half their life, then you're going to have
Hmm.
to come back so that you can, so your body gets used to it being healed,
Yep.
so your body, everything lines up so that,
Hmm.
and then eventually that healing will stick. Some people walk
Hmm.
out of there and they never have to come back again,
That's
but,
true. There
it just depends.
there are belief systems. So things like you were saying, like triggers. See, there are also belief systems, like you were saying, where my trauma was being held. I held that belief system in my liver. You see what I'm
Yes.
saying? With her, she held her belief system in her hips, which is her root chakra area. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
that's your power, your stability, your security. You see what I'm saying? So it threw her foundation off. Sometimes people hold on to traumas for the sake of what's that, sympathy. They want the
Yes,
sympathy from other people
yes.
to help them to feel better, and they think that's to help them feel better. However, that is just the band-aid. That's like going to the doctor just to get some Tylenol, for a headache,
Mhm,
instead of
mhm,
drinking your water, eating properly, you know what I'm saying, to relieve that
mhm.
issue that's going on within the body. So um we have to, this work really works with the inner, the inner core of your mind, your body, and your soul. It's just not something we do to, um these aren't parlor tricks here.
Right, right,
We're
exactly.
not fortune tellers with magnets under the table to get the cards to flip out right. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
exactly. And it
This
does take, we can only help you to heal, but
We
it
are
has
only
to
the
be, we can
vessel.
help you to heal, but it has to be your will.
It is.
And we
And
can't
it's
go
all
against
on
your
you.
will. We
It
can't
is.
go
It's
against
all
your
on the
will.
person.
And I tell
Hmm.
people, because Bailey, we've done surrogate work before,
Yes.
and where I have done some work for people, you're in representation of
Yes.
one of your loved ones. And
Yes.
so we can do the surrogate work, but we also have always gotten permission from that person.
You have to ask. There is morals and ethics to healing. You don't just jump in a person's energy and go tinkering around with their people's lives. That's
Mm-hmm.
the inappropriate way to do that. And actually, there is spiritual consequences for doing that.
Yes.
So you have to be careful. Sometimes, like you know, people like you or I, we see people in a situation, we just want to jump in and help them. No, we have to pull that back, and we have to say, no, we're just going to send them light until they're ready for what we have to offer them. Hey, how you doing? These are my services. You know what I'm saying? This is what I can do. I can do this for you now. If you're comfortable with that. If you're not, then I'm just going to let you know, whatever message that's come to you, if you relay that to them at that time, and you just keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? I see you're in this place, and God wants you to know, spirit wants you to know, the universe wants you to know, Allah, whoever wants you to know, this is da 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 da, and you just keep it
Yes.
moving. But you cannot just jump around and play in people's energy and expect to be the vessel appropriate for this work. You know what I'm saying? You just cannot. There are morals and ethics to this stuff. It
Oh,
just is.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Because with you, when we started working together, you were ready and willing. And we
Hmm.
both didn't know, because when we have a healing session, I tell people I don't anticipate um, what is going to happen in that session, because it's intuitive. So meaning
Hmm.
whatever comes up is what we're going to work on at that time, and
Hmm.
I stick closely to that. That is what I stick
Hmm.
closely to. And so one thing that I tell people, the more they're willing, and the more they're willing to put in the work, so the work meaning after a session, or what comes up after a session, I may tell people there's a certain type of bath that they have to take in order to be able to heal some of the things. There needs to be some extra steps, and if you're willing to
Hmm.
do that, we
Hmm.
find that there's results right away. We find that the
Hmm.
results are very quick, they're very rapid. And so
Hmm.
you have to be willing. We can't, I can't be willing for a person if they're apprehensive, if they say, well, I want to heal a little, they're kind of lukewarm, then that's the
Hmm.
results that you're going to get. You're going to get
That's
lukewarm
right.
results, because I can't go against your will. If you
That's
say,
right.
well, I'm only letting you go so far with the healing. Sometimes
That's
there's
right.
benefits to people being sick or being in disease. It's benefits. They may be getting a check. And so
Yeah.
they may be
The
want to
lifestyle.
get a little out of their comfort, but they don't
Hmm.
want to be completely healed. So in this work, we don't go outside of a person's will.
Oh, I'm sorry. You say I'm still playing with the camera because I really wanted to work.
Oh yeah, and these type of things happen when you're dealing with, and of course, Denise totally understands, because we're both
Mhm.
Reiki masters. We're healers, and when you're dealing with energy, we have what is called an energetic body, and we also have our
Yep.
physical body. But sometimes when we're trying to, when something powerful is coming out or things like that, we'll have some complications. But we're not going to let this get in the way of this message coming out, because
Right.
Denise has really broken free. She's really changed her life. She's really transformed her life, and that should be celebrated. And also,
Mhm.
that should be a, able to help someone out there that's battling alcoholism, that's battling, substance abuse issues, and they can't stop. They don't feel like they're in control anymore. And
Now,
so,
I will say, I'm sorry, I just want to interject. I still drink like a fish now. I want the people to know I still drink like a fish. When I drink, I drink as much as I want to, but I drink differently. So it's not there's not a need anymore. You know what I'm saying? Is when I
mhm,
drink is more of a social, it's a social drinking now. And sometimes I still get a little out of hand sometimes. It'll catch up with me, it'll get away from me sometimes, occasionally. But it's nowhere, when I say nowhere near uh where I used to be, nowhere
now,
near where I used to
and when
be,
you
nowhere
say,
near.
when you say you drink like a fish, you're talking about when you're on occasion.
On my
But it's
occasion,
not
you
like a
know,
everyday, an
no,
everyday type of situation where you
no,
have to drink every day, like when we first
no,
started.
no, not at
So
all. No.
nor do you, after you've drank, like socially, you're not saying
Hmm.
like that next day you have to continue on that path and you're craving
Oh
the
no.
alcohol and things like that.
Mm-mm.
I
Mm-mm.
just wanted to be
No.
clear about that so that people
Yeah.
understand the difference,
There's a huge difference.
Mhm.
Because even like with the hangover, they say you have to drink off your hangover. No, you don't. No, you
Right,
don't. You don't have
right.
to drink over. You don't have to drink your hangover.
Mhm.
No, you don't. So the when I say like that part, that part has changed. That part has changed. That has changed. So yeah.
Right. But it's
Hmm.
just like you said, on occasion,
Hmm.
meaning,
Like when I went to
if,
Miami, I drank the whole
right.
weekend. It took me like 3 days to recover, but in that 3 days of recovery, I would not touch alcohol.
Mhm. So
Even
you
though
didn't,
the
it's
theory
not
is
like,
you drink to feel better.
so prior to that, you would
Hmm.
drink, say you drunk, like you went out and you drank, you wouldn't be able
Hmm.
to stop prior
Right.
to the
No,
healing.
now I'm able to have that conversation with myself. You're at your limit. You've had enough. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? You've had enough. So I'm able to have that conversation while drinking, whereas before, no, I couldn't have that conversation. I didn't know how to have that conversation. It wasn't possible.
So you've taken, it's all in your hands. You're not out of control anymore.
Right. Yep. I now have my control over myself when I drink. Yep. That control is there.
Yep. And no longer on an everyday basis.
No. Mm-mm. I can't.
Hmm.
I couldn't do the things that I could do if I did it on a daily basis now. You know what I'm saying? Because drinking that way did harm. It did harm me internally. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So even though I've healed the traumas, I still have to heal the body now. You know what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
drinking that way for so long hurt my body. So now I have to do what it is that I have to do to help my body to heal.
And that's what because healing is a process. So
It
certain things
is.
don't happen overnight. And like we were
Mm-mm.
talking about your free will and what you're prepared to do and ready to do at the time.
Mhm.
And at the time, overcoming, it's been about 3 years. We thought it was two. We
Mhm.
talked about 2 years, but actually,
It's
when
a it.
looking backtracking, about 3 years,
Mhm.
that you have not had to drink every day, get drunk every
Mhm.
day, and have had control over your drinking. Just drinking
Mhm.
socially. So,
Right.
one thing, and like you said, the next thing is, renewing the body's tempo and things like that,
Yep.
which, like you said, you're working on those
Yep.
things now. And we've talked about some things. We had a session, and some different things had come up, and I know that you're changing some things in your lifestyle and things
Mhm.
like that, so that you can
Yep.
be just more physically healthy and things like that. And then when
Yep.
you're ready, you'll do that full transformation. And I just want to let people know, with the work that I do,
Mhm.
intuitive trauma recovery coaching, there is, for one, there's no judgment. No judgment is my saying. No judgment. And it's not a real invasive type of situation. We
Right.
go with the flow intuitively.
Right.
We go
Mhm.
with, it's no pushing. I'm not going to
Mhm.
tell someone, oh, okay, it's time for you to just change your diet. I see, because things will come up, and I'll see, like,
Right.
I think with us, what's come up is that you're very sensitive to a lot of chemicals in the foods
Yep.
that can cause allergic reactions. We were getting
Yep.
down to the bottom of some of the issues, and a lot of
Mhm.
the chemicals and a lot of the processed foods can cause some of those reactions. And
Yep.
so Denise is working on trying to eliminate some of those now, and
Yep.
she's working on that. But this is not a process of judgment. It's not a
Right.
process of pushing a person into something that they don't want to do at that
Right.
moment.
Right. Yep. Because I
So
think our most recent session, because yes, Simone is still my healer. we, we don't work. She doesn't work on me as often as she used to, but that's my fault, not hers. But when she and I do get together, it's always powerful. I've been going through inflammation in the body, and she made some suggestions for my diet. And honestly, um, my thought process is clear. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not as forgetful. I
mhm.
have way more energy. Oh my God, when I say my energy, whew, because I used to just sleep all day. Last night I went to sleep probably about 1:30 in the morning, but that's kind of normal for me because I work funny hours, right? So,
Mhm.
but when I woke up this morning, I was motivated. Like, I was able to stay on task. I was able to, get things done. Whereas before, I would only have enough energy to do a little bit. I had to sit down. Do a little bit, have to sit down. Do a little bit, take a nap. You know what I'm saying? So I did enjoy pizza because my son, his birthday was yesterday. So he wanted to, he wanted pizza and cake and ice cream. So I ate the pizza, and that was the first time I had bread in like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Mhm.
But I think the worst part about that is, like, I just woke up with a really puffy face. But I still feel good. Like, I don't have the pain in my joints. I don't have the pain, just all over, just feeling just sensitive and tingly. So thank you. The suggestions are working. I appreciate it. I
Oh,
do.
no
I do.
problem.
I
No
do.
problem, Denise. We can still continue to work together and things like that.
Mhm.
I'm so proud of Denise, because things
Mhm.
have been really, we've done so much work, and we can't talk about it all. We were focusing on mainly the
The
recovering
alcohol.
from the
Mhm.
alcoholism, but
Mhm.
we have so much to talk about. And we're not going to get it all in one show. This is only an hour, so of course we can't
Yeah.
get it all in one show. But
Right.
I will say, I mean, I just take my hat off to Denise, because she's done great work. And it's so because this is my purpose. Healing and empowering people is my purpose. And to see the results, to see the positive results, means
Mhm.
so much to me. It's almost
Mhm.
like, I mean, it's almost like God is just showing me, okay, if you stay on this path, this is
Yep.
what's going to happen. These are the results that you will see. And I learn also, because
Yeah.
every session I'm learning. the things that come up. Sometimes I have to look them up myself because I don't even know. I don't even
Right.
know what it is. So I'll look them up like on the internet. Certain
Right.
things I'm telling people. I'm like, I hope this is true because I'm telling this person some stuff I don't even know about, but then I have to
Yeah.
educate myself on it. But if they follow it, I just see such great results. And like
Yeah.
with Denise, well, we met like it was like a week ago or so, like a week or a week and a half ago.
It was about a week and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, so what you're saying, and Denise didn't tell me prior to this that she did enact some of the changes, some of the suggestions, and the results. She didn't tell me the results of that,
No, I
but
didn't.
I'm so happy that it's working out for you, Denise,
Hmm.
because I'm just being guided. I'll be guided by whatever comes. Some people, we're saying intuition. Some people may not know that word, but if you say there's discernment is another word for it,
Discernment. Yeah.
so that's another word that you can say for the type of work that
Oh,
that is done.
I lost 4 pounds too.
Oh wow, great, great.
Yep.
Because what
So
we were
yeah.
talking about was the inflammation, because the,
Hmm.
the the
But
foods
the inflammation is the inflammation is the result of the sugar. Now alcohol, because like I said, I still drink, but I don't drink like I used to. But my body doesn't process sugars properly. You see what I'm saying? So alcohol is a sugar, bread is a sugar. Certain foods that the processed foods turn into sugar. You know what I'm saying? And if it's not processed properly, it stores in the body in the very same place. Your liver, your spleen, all of that. It's got to pass through the gallbladder, throws your whole system off. You know what I'm saying? So it's all intertwined. You know what I'm saying? It's all intertwined. So
yeah, I
I
mean, it's almost we're almost to an hour. We're at 51
yeah.
minutes.
Hmm.
But I just wanted to thank Denise for coming on, and I would like to encourage anyone that is interested in getting services from me.
Hmm.
I would like to
Hmm.
encourage them to contact me. My website is drsimonamonet.com. That is DrSymonaMonet.com. And you can go to the contact section, and my information is on there. And I promise you, I'll get back with you and we can start the journey for your healing process, because just great things are happening. Look at Denise.
Yeah.
Denise has overcome alcoholism, something that a lot of people have to suffer with for the rest of their life. She has control. Like she said, yes, I do drink, but socially, a lot of us drink socially, but she does not no longer have to drink every single day, get drunk every single day, and they're having such a profound impact on her life, not being
Hmm.
able to move forward. And she's been able to
Yeah.
move forward. And not only has she been able to heal, she's able to offer healing. I'll tell you
That's
one
right.
thing with Denise. She is like a Pocahontas. She's the animals, she heals animals too. Animals, she's great with animals. If you need any type of work like that,
Hmm.
she's great with animals. She's great with people, but she's great with animals too. Um, so I would like to say there is hope. There is hope. And in closing, I just wanted to have Denise, leave some words of encouragement for people who may be battling or have relatives or family battling with alcoholism. I just want you to leave us some words of encouragement, of hope.
Um, First thing comes to mind is it's not your fault. People say you have a choice, but sometimes you get to a place with your vice where you no longer have a choice. And when you're ready to choose healing The healing is here for you. People like us are here for you. The medical doctors are going to give you a pill, but we're going to help you get to the root cause. You can also go to therapy, but there's other therapies such as this that goes a little bit deeper than those counseling and therapy issues. We're the people who find the part you can't talk about because you don't have the words. There is help of all sorts out here, and you are supported whether you know it or not. You are supported throughout your journey, and there's nothing wrong with change, and there's nothing wrong with the way that you are. The only thing that's wrong with it is that you're hurting yourself by not getting the help you know you need. So when you're ready for that help, someone is here. We are here. Dr. Symona Monet is here. Bailey is here. I'm sure you have family and friends that are there for you, and you will have the support you need to get through whatever it is you're trying to get through. It's there.
Yes, those
Yeah.
are excellent words of encouragement. And again, contact me. If you're wanting to speak with Denise, you can reach me and just put Denise in there in the
Mhm.
subject line. If you have more questions for her, if you wanted to patronize some of her services with you know healing of both you and your animals. If you have animals that need healing, she would be available. But you can just contact me at
Mhm.
drsymonamonet.com, DrSymonaMonet.com, and you will be able to reach me, and I promise you I will get back with you. Now we're wrapping up, and I just hope you enjoyed this, and I hope this has been beneficial to you. That's what it's all
Yeah.
about,
Yeah.
being that the things that we're putting out here is beneficial, and there will be more. I am going to continue to interview people that has experience breakthrough and is living the lives that they desire, or has gone towards the manifestation process of what it is that they want to do and how they want their lives to look. They're going
Mhm.
in the right direction now. They have done 360 changes and have been able to break free from that of which was keeping them from becoming the best versions of themselves. And that can also be you. That can also be you. The things that happen
Took
to
your
the
bed.
results
Took
that
your
Denise
bed.
received are also the results that you can receive if we work together. We can work together. We have some programs available. Just contact me at my website, and you will not be disappointed. This is worth
No.
it to you. This is worth it to you. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Denise.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye bye.